BPO3 is supported by Timber King Sawmills. For more information on my 1220 CRZ mill, or one of many Foley hydraulic options, go to timberking.com. Today is August 4th when I'm recording this. I published the poison ivy powder video this morning, and I mean, I still have it. Still kind of annoying. I don't think it's bad enough to like go to urgent care or anything like that and get some steroid something or other and all that good stuff. I'm just itchy, you know, I'm just itchy. Honestly, what I think is the reason why I'm not really going to get some type of medical help with it, because I think it's getting better, number one. And number two, the weather is too. Overcast day, and our highs today are in the 80s. Like the other night, last night, it got down to 66 degrees for our low. Oh my goodness. Woke up, kind of cold. It was great. It's really, really good. This is unusually cold for us in August. Our high today, like I said, is it's in the 80s, like 88, 89, something like that. So we're not going to have the heat index over 100. Our heat index today, I think, is supposed to be like 95, 96. So it's less miserable. Anyway, I've been neglecting this side of the shop for far too long. We got to make some progress. To walk up to this mound of dirt. Whoa. I'm sliding off. All right, so I've got two T-posts marking the septic, so I do not want to drive the tractor in between these posts and the shop. Nothing heavy goes right there. I have a water line underground about that far away from the shop, all the way along this edge. And now I have two gutters to deal with. These gutters were a tremendous help getting as much of this rainwater down to a concentrated location rather than just pummeling and splashing up everywhere. So I have 100 foot of corrugated pipe and two downspout adapters. So I'm going to take these elbows off, and this one I'm going to probably bring over on an angle to right about there-ish, and then I'll bring this one over here the same way. This is the initial game plan. And I'm not going to connect them. They're two independent 4-inch pipes, and I'll have both pipes in the same trench going out that way. I'll have 50 feet for each one of the pipes. That's a 100-foot roll. So that should get the majority of the water away, and then start going through the ditch system out into the woods. Whoa, I almost fell backwards. What was I going to say? I was going to say something else. The dogs like to dig over here, which is kind of annoying, but at the same time, doesn't bother me too much. Dogs will be dogs, and this is just fresh dirt. Once we get all this settled the way we want it to be settled, I'll come back with some grass seed and all that. And at that point, you better not dig into my grass. We'll figure something out. I have to elevate that over there. That is the aerator for our septic system. That's an air pump that runs 24/7. And it needs to go about 5 or 6 inches higher. I believe I have everything necessary to do that. I have to extend a 1/2-inch pipe, 1/2-inch diameter PVC, and I think the rest of this is just smooth it all out after we get these pipes buried. Now, here's the thing. Let me actually jump down. That's higher than it seems. That's about 5 feet off the ground, 4 feet off the ground. When I get these buried, I also want to build this up to the bottom line of the siding there. And I still have to spread this out. I kind of abandoned this job for a while because we went through this stretch of really, really wet stuff in the beginning of our summertime. Are you about to slide? Are you about to slide? Go ahead. Go ahead and slide with your new sled. Your fancy, only the best. Spare no expense for the child's sled. Let's see what you got. You went so fast it blew my hair back, and I didn't even go on the slide. Isn't that awesome? The simple pleasures of a 6-year-old. Where was I going? I don't know where I'm going with this. I've got to go get diesel fuel before I do much. We do want to spread this out. Oh, this sand. So when I got this sand, we get these loads of sand for 80 bucks a load, which is pretty darn cheap. And for the most part, they're fantastic. This particular load has several of these large rocks. So I need to go out here with the grapple and grab all these rocks and move these rocks elsewhere, and then start spreading this out. And then we'll be able to dig this trench. I'm not sure how I want to dig this trench. If I'm going to use the bucket on the tractor or if we're going to do it by hand, I'm not too sure. But we've got some work to do, and I got to go get some diesel fuel before we start. So this is a root rake grapple, meaning you can shove the bottom tines into the dirt and kind of sort of use it like a rake. But your depth is limited because of this bar that goes across right here. So it's not like a deep rake that you just plow through. But there is, you know, a good 4 inches or so that you can angle down and get through it. That is fantastic for screening out larger debris, and also fantastic for just plucking the rocks out of here. You got all of these big rocks that I don't know what we're gonna do with, but maybe Jamie wants to put them around her garden or something. Regardless, I don't want to bury them. I don't want them in this area, so I think my grapple work is done, and I can switch out to the bucket and then just start spreading this thing smooth. Once I get it smooth, then we'll switch gears and get the gutters out. I got the pile knocked down, and I will say that I wish I had a tracked machine right now. You know, like a skid steer or track loader. The tracks don't fall down in all these little itty bitty bumps, whereas the front tires on the tractor do. So every time you hit a bump in the front tire, what does it do is it raises up the back, which is the box blade, and then you go back down, and you're constantly doing this, and well, lumpies and bumpies. Once I get all of the trenching and all this done, I'm going to load up the tractor bucket and use it in float mode to back drag, and that does a pretty good job to flatten out, especially if I go one direction in a grid all the way across and then go like 45 degrees to that in a grid the other direction. That seems to do the job just fine. But now that this pile's not here, nothing's in our way, this is what I wanted so that I can actually start digging for the trenches. Also, we're going to tidy up the wall area here with hand tools, just garden rakes. On the front of the shop, I did it all with the tractor, and I got real close. Like don't sneeze or fart. You're gonna hit the building. I got real close. Don't want to do it here because I've got that in the way. I've got the downspout in the way, the downspout behind me. But anyway, we'll get it done with hand tools.
Alright, this can fill in minus like right here, right?
No, because that's where I'm going to put the material. I'm going to scoop and drop, scoop and drop, scoop and drop.
Okay.
This is a
do
race.
that one first.
This is a race, guys. Whoever gets to their work first gets to decide what we are eating for supper.
Grace, don't bring that back over here.
All right, I got to go get the materials to raise this over here. I set the glue down. Where did I set the glue down?
Mom,
What?
we're in the lead. Hey, Mom.
Huh?
Look, wait, let's do a rock race. Put them all over there.
Yeah. Gracie, no. No, Grace. No.
I'm just gonna lay this down. How many have you got?
However many on that thing now.
Been meaning to do that for 9 months now.
Alright. Look at us marking things off.
You know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of the saying that when a man says he's going to do something, there's no need to remind him every 6 months. That was installed late October, early November. Let's just say November of last year. It's August 4th. And I'm just now elevating that so that the platform that sits on is higher than the edge of the foundation. Eventually, when money starts to come in, I'll afford some gravel to put gravel right here, or some rock anyway. Stone, that's what it is. Stone, number 57 limestone. Something. I'll put something right there to stop the water splash. That being said, since we've got gutters, there really isn't much of a water splash at all, so maybe grass is just fine. Anyway, check that box. I still need to add a little bit more here. I want the rim of this to be at grade, so I need to add a little bit more, not much at all. This over here, I keep going back and forth on whether or not I want to take this out to right there and then have both pipes right there that way. That'll require a separate trench. I don't think the water is going to be super mad at me if I instead just take that elbow off and come down and go 90 degrees up against the foundation and then sweep out this way and attach to the trench right there. I think there should be enough gravity to get that water out anyway, especially if I come up about, say, like that high with the attachment. I think that should be fine. And what that'll do is allow me to only have to cross the water line one time. So I'm gonna have to dig with the tractor for the majority of this, but where it crosses the water supply line, because I've got my water supply about 1.5 feet away from the shop, all the way to that spigot right there. It'll stop me from having to do that in 2 spots, cross it anyway. So I think I'm just going to sweep around this way and go yonder way. I'm from the north and everyone says yonder here in the south. Where is yonder? It's an indefinite location. Anyway, so I think I'm going to start digging from this side, figure out where I want it to exit, which is essentially right here. I've already made a low spot going that way that connects into the ditch. So either this one, I'd really like to stay away from right here because there's that tree trunk right there, but it may end up being right here actually. I may put the tractor on the gravel side and start scooping and forming this ditch a little bit more pronounced right there going that way, and then I can tie in like a soa right there. I think that's going to be just fine. But that's it for me for today. We spent all morning doing errands, running around in town, and man, I know you've got to go to town to get stuff done, but every time I leave this property, it just feels like a waste of time. Even if I'm not doing anything productive, even if I'm just sitting on my butt, when I leave this property, I'm like, oh, what a waste of time. I should be doing something else. So anyway, we did all that this morning. Tomorrow morning, I'm going to come out here and we're going to get started early, hopefully anyway. But we're quitting today at 3:30 because our daughter is in Kung Fu and she goes to Kung Fu twice a week. And that's a family event for us. So anywho, not a lot of time, good progress. See you tomorrow.